Welcome to Season 2 of Our Darling Town, the podcast where we explore the heart and soul of Darlington through its local independent businesses and the people that make it special. I'm James Carver, alongside my brother Henry, and we're here to shine a spotlight on our beloved town. Join us as we sit down with passionate local people to delve into their stories and uncover the unique contributions they make to our community and find out more about the town where we live. Get ready to be inspired by the people and stories that make Darlington truly special.
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Season 2.
Born ready.
Let's nail it. While you were reading that out, I nearly burnt, I did burn my mouth. I nearly spat on my coffee all over the place. Wouldn't have been a good start to Season 2, would it?
Thanks for not spitting on me.
You're welcome. Here we are, Season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, first season go down well?
Yeah, feedback's been good. There was a couple of people that listened to it.
Yeah.
And we've committed to another how many episodes?
24.
Goodness me.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Yeah.
So,
We've
this
got
is...
some guests lined up?
Yes, we do have a short list. We just need to firm up a few dates with everybody. And
it's the admin side that we're not brilliant at, isn't it?
Yeah, not
Got lots
ideal.
of great ideas. We know lots of people who want to come on.
Yep.
It's just remembering to get them booked in.
Absolutely.
We promise to be better, guys.
Absolutely. We had a rap party at the end of season 1. How do you think that went down?
How holly was that? A rap party.
What does rap stand for again? Wind, reel and print.
Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Nailed it. Adam's in the room, who is a media expert. He didn't know that.
Did you look that up this morning?
No. I'm sure you told me years ago. I just remembered.
No.
Yeah, wind, reel, and print. It's basically after a film. That or in the olden days, they would wind the reel and then they would go to print. Yeah. I believe something like that. Excellent. If I'm wrong, apologies. I'll find out the correct answer, but I'm pretty sure that's what I had in my mind.
But yeah, rap party was great fun. We just thought it was a good idea. Obviously, we've met a load of fantastic individuals with great stories and getting to know the people behind the businesses, which is the whole idea of this podcast.
Absolutely.
And feedback from everybody's been, it's great listening to the conversations that we've been having. So we thought it'd be great to get the people who had been on season 1 into a room, a couple of drinks, went to Stable Hearth, got a few snippets, a few photographs, which Adam did brilliantly, promoting their businesses as well. I had a great time. Yep,
likewise. Pizza at Stable Hearth's not bad, is it?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
It's unbelievable. Yes, they have committed to come on our podcast, Nick and Gemma. Yeah. So look forward to speaking. And yeah, I don't think we'll get any free samples pizza in the morning. I think we'll probably have to go there on the evening.
We need to do locations.
Locations?
Yeah, we'll just go around eating and drinking around Darlington and turn into food critics.
Should we start at Crafty Merlin's?
Excellent.
And then move on to Bombay Gate and then Stable Hearth, and then we'll be probably triple the size by the time we finish.
Sounds good.
Anything else interesting happened over the last few weeks?
We got invited. No, you got invited, and you took me as a plus one to the press opening of Hopetown.
Yes.
So thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, and thank you to Katie who invited me. Thank you, Katie.
I was amazed.
What is Hopetown?
It's the Railway Museum on North Road, which has had £36 million spent on it. A lot of that's been from lottery funding. And I found it absolutely amazing. I, embarrassingly, had never been there before. I'd been to York and I'd been to Shildon museums, which, being from Darlington, is quite embarrassing. It was incredible. Yeah,
really impressive,
incredible. Isn't it? Best part was in the cafe. They've got a little train going around a track above your head, which I love. Really interactive. Haven't taken the kids yet, but summer holidays have started for hours today. So that'll be.
My boys were there yesterday with my mother-in-law, and they absolutely loved it. So
thoroughly recommend, and well done to everyone who's been involved.
And the entry is absolutely free. However, if this is a silly question, if the children want to go in the playground, then obviously you've got to pay for it. So it's not an if, you've obviously got to pay for the playground. But either which way, very, very good day out.
They've got like a virtual simulator thing coming where, again, you have to pay for it, but you sit in a capsule. Yeah. It's not up and running yet. It's like you go on one of the, is it a tornado train or one of the fast Japanese trains, whatever they're called, and it simulates that.
Bullet
Train. That was Say bullet train. That sounds better.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool, and is really interactive. So yeah.
Yeah, very good indeed. Well, I think we should get straight into welcoming our guest. What do you think?
Let's go for it.
Today we have an incredibly talented guest joining us, someone who has made significant contributions both locally and nationally in the field of media and marketing. Please welcome Adam Walker. Adam is a chartered marketer, and although he's local to the Darlington area, Adam's expertise and services extend nationwide, spanning a diverse array of sectors including sport, leisure, public health, SME marketing and sustainable travel. He has even collaborated with the national sustainable travel organisation ModeShift. Adam's prowess doesn't end with his marketing acumen. He is also a master behind the camera. His seamless video productions and on-point photography have captivated many, regardless of the setting. But Adam isn't just a behind-the-scenes sort of guy. He enjoys stepping in front of the camera too, producing engaging Hubspoke video content for various media channels. And when Adam isn't working his magic with a camera or creating stellar video content, you can find him embracing the great outdoors. Whether he's donning his flat cap and walking boots for a scenic hike or cycling through the countryside, Adam always finds a way to blend his passion for the outdoors with his love of photography. We're thrilled to have Adam with us today to share his journey, insights, and perhaps a few tips for aspiring marketers and photographers. So without further ado, let's dive into our conversation with the multi-talented Adam Walker.
I've never been talked about like that in my life. Good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning.
That was something else. I mean, I've seen you do it to other guests, but I'm a bit taken aback with that.
I think that was the longest intro ever.
It is,
as well.
He was running out of air. And
is that
everything.
our time up now? Do we need
Yeah,
to call
exactly.
it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
All
Mate,
done and dusted.
thank you for that. That was really good.
You're more than welcome.
Well, no.
Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you for coming on, but also thank you for hosting the podcast. Not hosting, but actually facilitating
Behind
the
the
podcast.
scenes.
Adam is the man behind Hubspoke Media with his team and set up this fantastic podcast space in Darlington. And
If only there was a prompt to tell you what the name was.
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
even notice that.
we've got Jess behind the cameras today, and Jess insisted that I pour my coffee into a Darlington Stream Space mug.
On brand.
Because obviously the Stream Space is the podcast studio where you've been recording this, and a massive thank you to you guys for coming along and giving it a go. Like, we went on this journey, like I say, season 2,
Yep.
you know, but we went on the journey season 1, and
Yep.
you were like, we're not sure how it's going to go and how it'll be received, but it's been brilliant. And being behind the scenes and seeing everyone come in and hear the stories has been great and a privilege, really.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
So tell us a bit about you. How did you get into marketing for a start?
So I used to work at Darlington Borough Council and specifically with the sports development team and Dolphin Centre. And as you work your way up, I found myself, originally it was like sports coaching, I was lifeguarding, very active, very involved in sort of the front of house delivery. But then as you sort of work your way up, you find yourself removing yourself to a computer. It's sort of more and more and managing projects. And what it was I'd done a very little bit of sports marketing at university, but only briefly. And I never really picked it up again. But when I was working for the council, we had projects that we needed to run. Basically, here's some funding we've got, or we'd get some funding. And it's like, put this on and get people to come along. And it was that getting people to come along, kind of going, we've got something brand new, we developed the program, and I liked that bit. But then it was like trying to encourage people to access it, which was essentially marketing.
Yeah.
Now, you had to work within the framework of the council, communications teams, so you got to meet a lot of people very quickly. And then when you'd actually see people turn up and do the event, I got a lot from that in terms of quite a lot of satisfaction. So what I did was I then, knowing that public sector finance was being pushed and budgets were moving around and this, that and the other, I actually retrained and invested in my level 6 diploma in professional marketing, which I did in year 1 of child number 1 being born. It was a tough year.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, trying to do your homework.
Is that so you can get out of doing nappies? Because you've got work to do.
That didn't work. You had to do it on top of.
Yeah.
But no, my wife was incredibly supportive, and I did that basically at the kitchen table, distance learning. Went down to Pontefract to sit like one of my exam modules, and when I got the course, when I got like the the stuff through. It's like episode 1, strategic marketing. The book was like this, and I was like, whoa, I thought it was like flyers and Facebook posts and nice shiny things.
Yeah.
And then obviously you then go into the world of business, sort of like business management, all of that sort of stuff. So I did that. As I qualified, I actually got made redundant from the council, just due to funding cutbacks and stuff, and there was a reshuffle going on. So I was looking for work in this, that, and the other. I tried looking at various jobs. I'd always wanted to set up my own business. But then in the end, I was like, right, tell you what, I'll go and set up Hubspoke Marketing Limited, which we trade under Hubspoke Media now. So I went and paid £13 to company's house. I went into work the next day, and the staff were going, what are you going to do for a job? And I was like, I'm now a director of a company.
Result.
Cost me £13. And that's how it sort of came about. So I then got some part-time work as a marketing officer, and I was doing that. And basically... Hubspoke. And the first year was very... child number 2 was landing as I was getting made redundant.
Right.
So the priority year 1 was to keep my wife able to have the same amount of maternity leave that she had with child number 1.
Yep.
So that was the focus for year 1 for me. But that's how it came about.
And that was 2016.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Do you remember your first sort of big project? Your big, or
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be big. Just what got the wheels in motion?
There's 2 clients in particular. Abreeze Pest Control. He is a friend as well.
Yeah.
But he was like, I need my website refreshing and redoing.
Yeah.
And I started because of what we do. We're now very media heavy, deliberately, but the cameras cost an absolute fortune. So day 1, it is like, what do I do in day 1? So a lot of web stuff, WordPress websites, which we still do. So Abreeze Pest Control, he was like my first client, and I redeveloped his website. And he's still working with us now to this day. And then the other one was Hazel from Full Circle HR Consultancy, who we've still got her website. And she wanted us to do her website, and that just came about. And that was when I started to realise that sitting at your kitchen table, which is what I did on day 1, open my laptop and like, no one's going to find me here, which goes without saying. But I had so much to learn. I couldn't operate a camera. Believe it or not, I've had no formal, and I happily say this, and people might go, what, should you say that? I've had no formal camera qualifications. I've had no formal training. It's all been self-taught, self-directed. And then without the support of, say, Scott Akos, photography, near shout out Scott. If you're in Darlington, you've seen his photographs.
Yeah,
100%.
Scott was great. He started getting me to buddy along and work with him. So if he needed a second camera, he'd let me come along. So it's those little steps, and gently, we kind of repeat that over years, and we're here today, 8 years later.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you shoot events, you shoot products, you shoot
I have done
anything,
all
everything?
sorts. Yeah. So the way we dial it down in terms of what we offer, because sometimes it's quite hard. People can be quite specific in terms of it. So the overview is product, places, people.
Yeah.
Like if it's a product or a service, if it's people, we photograph that, and if it's a place, we photograph that. Yeah. That's probably the easiest way.
You're responsible for that photo, aren't you?
Yeah, you're not happy with your hair, though, but I'm not responsible for the hair.
So James currently pointing at the backdrop of the video. If you are on YouTube or whatever, you'll be able to see it. But what is that haircut?
Yeah. It seems to crop up every time. Can we redo the photo?
We can redo the photo.
This, please?
Yeah, we can. 100%.
Excellent.
Yeah, so... But I wasn't responsible for that. And if you look at it's in focus, the lighting's good.
That's true.
It's your hair.
It's
You're
me.
responsible for your hair.
Correct.
Just to push that one back on you. I get to deal with that a lot. I get the airbrush request. You didn't request that. But in terms of what we do, yeah, we've done events. Darlington 10K we covered last year. Scott normally does it, but he was booked out on another job, so he kindly said, would you be able to cover it?
In a couple of weeks' time. Are you doing that again?
Not this year.
No.
Not this year. Scott's there, but that was phenomenal. I've even had the pleasure of going to British bodybuilding championships with Scott to film that, and I've done a few of those. We went to Derbyshire on a job to do that. The most kind of left field job that you wouldn't necessarily think we'd access is we got, there's 2 actually. One was a Swedish company got in touch with us to go and shoot their commercial properties, but they wanted the same photographer to go to Leeds, Manchester, Oxford and London. So that was me.
Brilliant.
So I had to go over there and do that. But they wanted me to translate the the money into Swedish krona so they could work out how much it was. So that was an experience. And then the other one was big agricultural company that make feed wagons for cattle, basically. And I went as far north as Peterhead, north of Aberdeen, and did farms all the way through Scotland, England, Wales, and all the way down to Devon, shooting testimony video, hero shots with the farmer stood there, and that's now all on their conference stands.
Brilliant.
And things like that. So that they were like two of the most random sort of jobs we've had come in, if that makes sense, which have been brilliant. And we've done more work.
National and international clients as well.
Yeah, so the agricultural client is an international client, but we're delivering specifically on the UK-based campaign. And if you went to the Highland Show or any of the big agricultural shows, when you see all the pictures and stuff, and it's huge, like the stand they have, it's all our images on there. And that's the best bit, I think.
I was supposed to say, that must give you such a sense of achievement.
Yeah, like there's a couple of things. We've done cinema advertising for Darlington College and TV advertising for Darlington College. We've got a campaign going live this morning, in fact. That's all signed off and put on, ready to go, so that's going out on Sky. So it's interesting seeing your work go out there. Being in the cinema was great because you saw it sandwiched between Ron Atkinson and Kevin Bacon.
Really?
I was like, and then it was like the Darlington College advert in the middle, and you're like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, little things like that make it really quite exciting, I think.
Amazing. Talk to us about podcasts, because I mean, obviously, we are now sat in your studio, Darlington Stream Space. How did that come about?
So I actually started dabbling with podcasting about 3 years ago. There was an app called Anchor, which has then been bought by Spotify, and we started with that in terms of just having a go at it ourselves to experiment with it. It wasn't popping off in the same way that it is now. So we dabbled, I was aware of it, and then last year, 2023, to place it, we started getting more and more clients interested. And we got one client in particular who wanted that as part of their, because we run social media and marketing campaigns. We don't just do the filming, the photographing, we do the stuff afterwards as well with the media, but he wanted to do a podcast. So we started up with a simple mixer, recording to a laptop or an audio recorder with the microphones. In fact, two of the microphones that are here are the original ones that we were using. Then that got more and more prominent, and I was like, we're carting stuff everywhere. And then I thought, well, there's a few podcast studios around, but there wasn't one the same as the others in Darlington. So that's when I worked with Darlington Workspace, which is the building here, Business Central, and said, could we collaborate on this? And we do that. So it's like a shared sort of project that we've been working on. So yeah, it's been incredible. And we got it launched. I mean, the decision, Jess always brings it up, from going, right, we're going to have a podcast studio to actually having a podcast studio is 1 week. Like when I made the decision to do that. And you guys had already been talking to me about launching yours. And then I messaged you back, Henry, going,
we're good.
I've got a space here now. Because we were looking at doing it in different places and this, that, and the other. So don't get me wrong, it's been a huge amount of investment taking that leap, but it's been one worth doing. And I think it's been a case of right place, right time scenario, certainly for us. And our differentiator to the other podcast studios, people can self-serve. What we do is we do all the editing after the fact. So we know that when you leave here today, don't worry, we got this, basically. Yeah. And that's what we seem to think is working well.
And for people out there that, I mean, obviously if they're seeing this on social media and they're not actually listening to a podcast, why would someone start a podcast? I mean, what's the benefits of doing a podcast? I mean, YouTube's obviously huge, but why do a podcast? Yeah,
the question we have as well is why film it as well. Yeah. If it's audio only and most people listen to it. Yeah. For me, it's about being able to get personality across or allowing you to go a bit deeper into content. You guys have produced loads of videos in your world of work. And you know that people, when you're talking it, and if it's a bit salesy, you know that you're going to lose it. And at times you need to do that salesy content just so people are aware of that. What it allows you to do is do the non-salesy content that is meaningful, or should be meaningful, is with you guys. And you're kind of either educating people, so it could be teaching them new ideas. Like for listening to your podcast, like I'm a listener of this podcast. hearing about the different businesses in the town has been absolutely fascinating, and their journey. Because we're all, like, when you're a small business growing up, you all have your own story and your own business, and you do feel on your own. So it's been really good to hear other people and how they got into it and how they grew it. So one is that storytelling, education, this, that, and the other. But the other one is it allows you to kind of lean into subjects a bit more. So, we've got people doing property podcasts. Obviously, you work in property, but, you were like, we want to look at business in terms of local Darlington businesses. And it then brings actually, because where else is that being talked about, I think is the question to ask. Nowhere, unless it's like little conversations.
I think we're probably the only podcast about Darlington.
Yeah, well, there's social media accounts. So Love Darlow, for example, that's a campaign. I think Tora Gills sort of had the idea, and she pushes businesses via social media. But yeah, we're going the next step, really, aren't we? In interviewing those people and, as you say, storytelling. Yeah. And it has been fascinating. We've learned a lot about people that we'd never met before, so didn't necessarily we weren't expected to know these things, but we certainly weren't expecting the conversations to go the way that they did in certain aspects. Joseph Bagley, for example, he's an author. And we got out of him what type of book it was, and if you're interested, go and listen to the Joseph Bagley.
Quite saucy, if
very saucy. But that is just really, really interesting. And then that educated people, and then all of a sudden, it's given more of a personality to him, which is then obviously promoting his business. So that one was.
I think on that, podcasting is good for lifting the lid. It's probably how to summarise it. Yeah. Like that. That's an example there. Yeah. Obviously, like Harvey's food van is incredible. Yeah. He's not called Harvey. Don't call him Harvey. He's called Steve.
Exactly right.
But like, I know that now.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to rock up and go, hey, Harvey.
Exactly right.
But then to hear his history and where he'd been. So like, all of those stories have been incredible. And that's kind of what podcasting is all about. Just to cite our Darlington podcast, that is a perfect example of what it's all about. The reason why we film it is we then chop it up to social media shorts. Yeah. So people might not have time to listen to the full thing. And there might be just something interesting and out there that someone might see on Instagram. Yeah. And then they might go off and see it. Or they could watch it on YouTube. You can equally watch it on Spotify. So if you don't have this podcast locked on your phone playing and you've got the Spotify app open, you see your gorgeous faces. Because that's how it works now.
What,
so
no,
your actual face. Oh. Actually, no, that will be the artwork. So if anyone's got Apple CarPlay right now, they're probably looking at your face.
Yeah, that needs changing today.
So we'll change that.
We'll end up crashing.
Yeah.
When did the first? We're going back to your journey in Hubspoke. When did the first member of the team get employed?
Yeah, so that was back in 2019.
I bet that was a scary moment, but
it was actually. I remember
exciting.
I remember trying to go, right, I need you to work on the social media accounts. It was Natalie, and I was like, I need you to try and work on the social media accounts. She's like, great, what's the password? I was like, not wanting to let go.
Let go of the reins.
Yeah, that's been the biggest sort of challenge for me, which I think I overcame quite quickly. Now it's just like, I need to go for it, because if I didn't let go, I'm not giving them the best chance of doing the best job they can do, if that makes sense. So yes, you have to make decisions being the business owner, and they're not always the most fun things to do, I'll admit. But actually letting go and letting your team get on has been the massive learning now. So now hopefully, I'm looking at Jess off camera, hopefully she feels empowered to do a good job, and she does a great job. Yeah. But hopefully she feels that she can.
Absolutely.
Do that,
And you had to, release the reins, didn't you? You were away for, 4 weeks?
So back in the spring.
Yeah. So how? I mean, obviously it was perfect. We were here and everything was seamless.
Yeah. So that's been the first proper. I have been, in terms of lessons learned, I've been a bit rubbish at looking after myself, if I'm being truthful, because I've just been working. I don't want to let a client down. I don't want to, you spend so long building a business. Yeah. You get into the fact of I can't take my foot off the gas. But then we had this opportunity to go to New Zealand and looking after myself and doing holidays, and they're absolutely things I wanted to do. So the opportunity to go to New Zealand in the spring was fantastic. It also meant that when I came in after Christmas in December, I'm like, right, 3 months to get this pipelined and ready, and the team were great. The world didn't set on fire. My business is still standing. In fact, more so, it was doing probably better in some regard because I was out the room and they had freedom to get on, so it was. I suppose there is maybe a bit of ego in there at times, but I think it's more responsibilities that what I felt. So that was a massive challenge for us as a business. But now we've got no excuse. So when I'm in Wales in a couple of weeks' time, everything will be fine. Yeah. So yeah,
it will. And you can turn your emails off and divert them and allow the team to do what they're good at.
Yeah, yeah. And I've set things in place like, all the business owners you've had on. I was talking to them when I was filming the featurettes, as we called them.
Yeah.
To go around and feature their businesses, and it's like juggling the trials and tribulations of business. So I've got I won't work after 8 o'clock on a night. It doesn't mean I'm working till 8 every single night. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'll make sure that I do not
have time to switch off.
100%.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I don't go to sleep properly. Yeah. I'm still thinking. Yeah. So my phone goes on charge. I like saying this because I think everyone should be encouraged to do it. My phone is on charge in the other end of the house.
Yeah.
It's not next to my bed. So the first thing I don't do in the morning is roll over and look at my phone, which is what I used to do.
Yeah.
For me, it's just been a good little thing to kind of go, just wake up first.
Especially if you're in the media profession, you almost you have to check certain things to make sure everything's going correctly or what have you. So to detach yourself from that, I think is really, really good for your own mental health, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. It's really important that people do that, and I think people in business need to feel that they can do that and put boundaries in place and just manage expectations. I think it's a really good thing. It's a big lesson I've learned in terms of working with clients. Make sure people know. You guys know when this will roughly go out, sort of thing. We'll agree that we need to agree the exact day that we're going to publish, actually, on that. But we know where we all fit then, don't we, and how it works.
Yep.
So that's been a huge thing. In terms of the media side, we could be shooting hundreds of images, shooting hours of footage, and then literally we haven't even got out the car after the job, and it's like, when's it going to be ready?
Yeah.
The things we always say, video edits, we say a week.
Yeah.
People know that that's the challenge we set ourselves. And that'll be the latest point. Usually we get them turned around quicker than that, if that makes sense.
It's similar with properties as well. You go and you get instructed on putting a property in the market. Some clients will say, will it be on tonight? No, it won't be on tonight. If it's on tonight, we're not doing a proper job for you. So managing clients' expectations, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's not that they are... It's. I think part of the problem is with certain jobs, putting a property on the market. I wouldn't know where to start, by the way. But it's unseen. It's the jobs that go unseen. It's just like our editing. It's interesting how we do that. I mean, I was getting asked for pictures having driven home from the job, and I'm like, I haven't even got them off the camera yet, sort of thing. So, you've always got that to deal with and things. But
I suppose it's a bit of excitement from the client. They want to see.
In truth, I'm usually as excited as it as well, because on the media side of things, like I said, I've kind of worked on this over time and built it up. I know if I'm getting excited about the photos, I know that, and this is just how I feel, I know that I'm happy with the standard that I'm managing to shoot and take. And I feel photography is so interesting, particularly on media. Like Stan Seaton, incredible photographer. And some people would be like, I've already messaged Scott, mentioned Scott, I'm now messaging Stan Seaton. Like, but you're in competition. I'm like, no, it's not about that. Yeah. Stan Seaton does the most incredible studio shoots that take more money in terms of equipment. Again, if I was to look to go to that level, I have studio kit, but then he has spent years of crafting it, and the skin tones that he's getting, the textures, the things that he is pulling out. And it can be so minute if someone was looking at it from, say, the untrained eye. But I'm looking at his images going, how on earth could I make my images look like that? Because that is incredible. I'd say milky skin, in terms of smooth. And it's just little things like that. And to be honest, it's that attention to detail that gets me excited when we're shooting work. Which might sound a bit geeky, but I think you've got to geek out in what you do.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. If you're not passionate and, invested in what you do, then, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
So another passion of yours.
Yes.
DJ Adam Walker.
DJ Adam
On the
Walker.
decks, come
the
on.
decks, yeah.
That wasn't even in my mindset to
know.
discuss. Well done for bringing that
wasn't
one
even
out.
on my mindset to discuss. Yeah, so do you know what? DJ Adam Walker, my alter ego, it's just me on a weekend playing music for people. But what happened is in lockdown, I was at home with the kids doing the homeschooling fun that we did. And it was Jacob's birthday party. And I'd already got some decks because I was trying to like mix tracks and things for videos to see if I could do it that way. And I'd done a little bit as a teenager, like working with MDOC Entertainment, who we work with now. His dad used to run that business. So we used to be at these, kids' discos and things. And I ended up behind there a bit. So I started doing it while I was there. I was like, right, we'll do a Zoom party. But I was like, I can share the audio over Zoom. So started doing that, Zoom parties. Then Darlington Tri Club were like, would you do one for us at Christmas? I was like, okay, that's that's not where it is. But so that happened. And then Miles at MDOC Entertainment, who runs, we work with him in terms of web and socials and things. He was like, I know you can do it. I've just been let down because he's reliant on individuals to go in and do it. He can only be in one place at one time. He has loads of equipment in terms of rigs. I think the most we've had out on one night is seven different discos going out. And he's got all the equipment and it's honestly fantastic. So I went and did a 21st for him. And he went, I'll put everything in, laptop, the lot. You just have to turn up and play. Now, I've learned that 21st are actually one of the hardest parties to do because you've got a younger crowd who want one type of music and an older crowd, in inverted commas, I put myself in that category, who maybe want another type of music. And it's actually a constant fight on the thing. So did that and then did another one. I was like, right, okay, I may as well just formalize this. And then being interested in business, stuff like that, I was like, well, let's see how it works. I've done the Hubspoke stuff and I'm like, it's a bit different. Who wants a party? And then, you start taking bookings. I work with Miles, so if someone comes to me and books it, it's the same price as if they go to Miles and book it and I'm DJing it. So yeah, I was out last Saturday doing a 50th birthday party.
That's more your scene, right?
Yeah, so, always. Actually, I like all sorts. But they wanted like 90s dance anthems.
Really?
Yeah, so I had a great time mixing that.
I love that.
That was great fun, alongside all the other stuff. Week before was a wedding. Week before I've done all sorts. I was in the cowshed in North Yorkshire Moors the other week for a 50th. So yeah, so that was just like a little side project. And I think it kind of fits because if you think about what we do in terms of editing and things like that, we're working a lot with music, trying to edit to the beat, for example, and things. So I've always had an interest in music. But yeah, that was just a little sort of side adventure. I don't expect to be in Ibiza anytime soon. And when I announced it, I was like, this is just a bit of fun. Yeah. And actually, the response was really good. Like, I was like, hey, guys, I'm a DJ. How funny is that? I think that's what I actually wrote in the post. Because it's like, well, if you don't put yourself out there, you're not going to get any bookings. And I'd say, if we're moving into the marketing element, that's the key point. People aren't confident being on camera or being on image. Like they might not like the photograph, for example, Jim. So I was just like, right, I'm going to put it out there, see what happens. And actually, I've been busy every weekend for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. But I do make sure I manage it in terms of energy levels. Yeah. I don't really want to be out. I'm not out till 4 a.m. or anything like that. It's usually a midnight finish. Yeah. Sort of thing. So yeah.
Fantastic. Amazing. Man of many talents.
Don't know. I don't know about that, but
well, the introduction said multi-talented.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I don't know. I think you've just got to go for it in terms of what you want to do, what you want to try. You guys have done some incredible things. Whether it's CrossFit, let's get CrossFit in there. Or whether it's
I never mentioned CrossFit. He brought it up, but while you're on the subject, I'm joking.
Or whether it's insane, silly idea to have a massive run, but absolute respect to you. Yeah. And you put yourself out there. It's about putting yourself out there. You did some incredible stuff raising money for charity with that. And I think if you hadn't put yourself out there, I mean, you must have been going into that going, what if I fail? And I don't mean that you went there to fail, but somewhere in your brain, maybe there's like, what if I fail?
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. But I'm pretty stubborn when I want to do something. So,
just for reference, this was a 100-mile run that James did unaided. I say unaided, obviously, had a couple of support runners bringing you snacks and various things, but it wasn't within an event. He decided to run the Teesdale Way, which was 96 miles, and you added an extra 4 miles onto the total at the end.
92 miles plus 8. So
plus 8.
100 miles.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah.
All non-stop. It was sleep deprived as well.
It was really fun up until about Broken Scar, which was 65 miles. And after that, it was a struggle. And it went from a run to a walk. So, yeah, I had people dragging me around, Henry and Dad, friend Rich as well, plus loads of other people. So,
but I see so many similarities. That as an example, it's a bit like doing business and working on things. So, first of all, you go, I'm going to do this. You've had an idea, yeah? Then you put it out there.
Yeah.
Then you're doing so much good by raising money, in this case for charity. And then you're actually in the trenches with it and trying to get through, and just that determination to plough on. So stubbornness, brilliant.
Yeah.
You needed that stubbornness, clearly.
But then you think you finish it, and then you're thinking of the next thing to do.
No. But yeah, there's DJ Adam Walker, I suppose. There's a little like, oh, why not? Why not just be a DJ? Like, so I think it's an easy thing to go after. I think that is a perfect example. That in many ways is a real good way to look at it in terms of anyone running a business. You have an idea, you put it out there. You might be going, what if I fail? How can I best optimize my chances of not failing?
Yeah.
What I realise is when you set up in business, if people are very quick to tell you the facts of, did you know 80% of businesses fold in 5 years? By the way, I don't know if that's factually right, but that's the sort of
example.
thing. I'm like, thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
But it's about shutting off the noise and getting after stuff. And I think my next challenge is not it's continue with the business, but physical challenges. I did Ironman back in 2012. I did Land's End to John O'Groats in 9 days in 2015.
Nice.
And raised £1,000 for their air ambulance. Amazing. That was probably the hardest thing I'd done.
Yeah.
And I want to try and get myself back to there. I need to get myself physically prepared to do those things. So that for me, in terms of the next journey, releasing the reins and things like that, that's probably where I want to go. And I'm happy saying that because accountability is a good thing, right?
Massively.
100%.
Yeah.
We'll keep you accountable.
Too right.
Yeah,
Too
absolutely. Right. Let's revert this back to our darling town, as in Darlington as a town. You live in Darlington?
Just outside of Darlington.
Yeah,
but
very good.
I have grown up all around Darlington. Yep. If I'm going to town, air quotes, it's Darlington, basically. So my mum used to be a head teacher in the schools in Darlington, deputy head teacher. She used to work at the council. I used to work at the council. So Darlington's played a massive part of my life. I used to growing up playing rugby in Darlington.
Yeah.
Not at Mowden, not Darlington.
Oh, no.
I'm at Darlington now. But I used to play against
rugby club.
I used to play against James.
We played together as well.
We played together as well at school, and we played at an under 18s county cup final as well at Darlington.
We did.
But so growing up, I actually used to be on the other side of the rugby pitch to James, like in the early days. But Darlington's been absolutely in there. I want to share one thing that I've seen this morning that I love about the town. There's a chap at the traffic lights this morning. He's got his headphones in. He's got his national chain high street shop on his uniform, and he's got a guitar strapped to his back. And while he was waiting at the lights, he was dancing and rapping to whatever was going on in his headphones, just loving life. And I'm like, if I can get to that point in my life where I'm that happy, that is incredible.
Brilliant.
But it's things like that you see in Darlington that I think are great.
Absolutely.
So I think the town's incredible. When I worked at the Dolphin Centre, I was proud to work there. Absolutely. And I get to go back in there and see it, and it's great. And I think we're just so fortunate. My work at the council was great because it was like I suddenly learnt about all the open spaces because we're delivering all the projects in the town.
Yep.
The facilities that we have as a town is second to none.
Yeah.
Whether it's the theatre, we've got Theatre Hullabaloo, we're working with them at the moment, so we've been doing some of those kids play in creative spaces.
I'm in talks with them and hopefully get them on the podcast soon.
There we go then. So we've been photographing for them.
I'm right in thinking it's the only specialist children's theatre outside of London.
Yeah.
So
and they're running a massive event this weekend. In the park, Hullabaloo in the park. It's free for all families to attend.
That's right.
Like the scope and scale that they're delivering, but it's so easy to miss these things in terms of what's going on. Partly because there is so much going on Hopetown, Darlington launching.
Yeah.
We've got the brand new train station being developed
Absolutely.
and invested in. Like it's unbelievable the stuff in amidst the challenges the high street faces. Ironically,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of challenges, and we've heard about those challenges and things like that. But in terms of the town, it's incredible.
Absolutely. Anything else from yourself, Jiminy?
No. That was,
Oh, we've covered quite a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah, we have. Hopefully not too wayward.
Any advice? Here we go. Parting words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom from yourself. Any advice for someone who is thinking about setting up, who is just sort of sat on the fence?
Yeah, I think running a business is an incredible challenge that shouldn't be taken lightly. I think it's fair to say, and I think everyone realises that. But it does get to a point where you've just got to do it. So you can have all the ideas lined up, and the biggest thing for me was filling out that form on company's house. And you could start as a sole trader and then look to be a limited company and this, that, and the other. What I'm keen to look at is how when I was setting up a business, I was like, I don't actually know how to do this. Like, there's no information anywhere. So you spend a lot of time trying to learn and understand what you have to do. I think it just gets to the point where you've just got to do it. And then when you back yourself and go for it and make this decision, don't keep it a secret. So in the world of marketing, obviously where I'm from, get your Facebook page set up, get an Instagram account set up. In the brand thing, get an email sorted. So go and buy a domain name. You own that domain name. That's your website address, yeah? Mm-hmm. With that, you can then have an email inbox. Like, just basic things. Get yourself a logo sorted, and it doesn't have to be go to an agency. You could create something on Canva on the free account level, or use an app called Fiverr. So at some point, once you agree that you're going to do it, get yourself out there. Start telling people what you're doing. Now, that could be through in-person meetings, social media. And then I'd say approach it with, you want to build relationships, not build necessarily walking up to people and going, hi, buy my thing. That doesn't work. But go out there, be in the community, places like Business Central, for example, any local events and things like that, networking events, such things. Get yourself down and just get yourself known. But it's not a case of handing people a business card, and I've had this happen. Give me the business card before they've actually told me their name. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hi, I just want you to buy whatever we sell. Yeah. Build a relationship, find allies, trusted partners is a big thing. So we work with Resilient Business Systems, for example, they're IT. Mm-hmm. So any issues that clients have got with IT, I go and speak to them because they're the experts and they can sort it out. And I think once you commit, it's about building up a network, telling people what you're doing. If you don't tell anyone what you're doing, how are they going to find out?
Yep.
Fantastic. Finally, if any listeners or watchers are thinking themselves that, podcasting, I might be interested, I've got an idea.
Yep.
How do they get in touch with you? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, so the first thing I always say is you can actually, it is readily accessible, and I don't want to feel like we're the gatekeepers, and I've never done this with any other work. People can go, well, can't I just take photos on my phone? I'm like, yeah, you can. But if you want us to take a higher standard of photo, that's where we come in. So darlingtonstreamspace.co.uk is the website. And we've got a load of information on there on the pod plans. But if someone wanted to just start a podcast on their own, they can do it with the phone. Yeah. It's called Podcasters, which used to be Anchor. It's owned by Spotify, and they can actually start recording on their phone. The difference is what we've got going on in here today is we've got high quality condenser mics, we've got preamps on the mixer, which makes a quality sound, hopefully. And obviously we've got the cameras in situ as well. And then we do a load of editing after the fact. We also then back up the footage and this, that, and the other. And that's where you start to get a lot more technical in terms of making sure, if we're being paid to produce a podcast, we need to keep that data safe and backed up. So you can start on your phone, app called Podcasters, and you can build it up from there. There's loads of YouTube videos, or if you want something producing, darlingtonstreamspace.co.uk. And we've got all of the information on the website there.
If we can do it, you guys can.
Can we do it? I don't know. We're doing it. We're doing something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adam, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate your time.
No, it's been great. Thank you for having me. And it's been great being this side instead of the other side. So, no, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing who you have next.
Absolutely. So do we.
They're not that bad, really, just for the record. Their admin is pretty good. You're just busy guys. So, no, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.